What I have learned from my audience feedback. Why it's important that we took audience feedback into consideration. One of the reasons why it was important that we took audience feedback into consideration was to be sure that we were catering to our target audience and to be sure that we were fulfilling the needs of our target audience when they go to see a horror genre. Also, just to generally be able to tweak little details that maybe people said they didn't like or um, didn't understand. You know, we had problems with the narrative in the beginning. Um, a few people said they didn't understand, or you know, they weren't sure of what was really going on or the plot line. So we had to we had to put in a voiceover over the top, for example, to tell the narrative. So when people were watching the trailer, they understood. So that was one of the reasons. We looked at in our research and planning stages, we looked at audience feedback for The Purge and Black Mirror, which were two of the most inspirational media products that we looked at. They weren't really where we developed our plot line from. However, the use of masks and the use of costumes in Black Mirror, we were really inspired by that, and so we thought we would look at the target audience for those two products as they'd be the closest um, to the same sort of audience as if we had made our film. Um, as you can see on the left is the target audience for The Purge, and on the right is the target audience for Black Mirror. You can see that actually we were surprised that it was actually mostly females who were interested in The Purge, only by a small average, but still. And then you could also see that was for the same for Black Mirror. So when looking at that, that was one of the reasons why we decided to have a female antagonist. And you know, for the person to do the voiceover, we decided that she should be female as well to cater to our target audience, because we felt if we had a strong female roles within our film, that would cater to our target audience more. As women watching it wouldn't feel like they were watching average horror films where the females are always portrayed to be helpless and unable to defend themselves. We thought about that was our primary audience, and we thought about who our secondary target audience could be, and we decided that it could be film critics or people who enjoy watching independent films, low budget films, film fanatics, because we thought, as our film is quite a low budget Blair Witch Project sort of style film with the handheld camera and things like that, that it wouldn't be shown in a big Hollywood sort of manner. It would just be shown in small cinemas, maybe do the independent film circuit and so on. And here are some of our audience feedback that we received.
So what did you like about our trailer? I really like the use of titles. I thought that they really helped with telling the narrative. And I like the use of shots as well, like the different variation of shot types. Thanks, that's lovely. What didn't you like? Oh wait, no, sorry. I liked the like security camera point of view, and I liked the FaceTime point of view. It was like completely opposite, and then they were like next to each other, which I think worked out. Same with me. I like the security camera shots. They were really good. Can I just say we actually filmed them? Oh, well, not us, but like, you know, friends. The soundtrack was really good as well, because it was quite powerful, but it wasn't overpowering the narrative. So that was really good as well. I like the whole like the running away bit, like that whole little montage bit. I like that, and I like the handheld camera. Oh, thanks. What did you like? I think with that running kind of shot towards the end, I found it a bit jumpy. I think maybe if you like stabilised a couple of the clips, then maybe, I don't know, it just made me a little bit dizzy. Fair enough. I
I just say, basically, we need to add a voiceover where Indica explains that
Basically, the narrative.
the 1%, and she explains that basically we're rich or poor. Let's create a sport hunted poor people back that they stopped to be hunted. Yeah, but they both got it. I just didn't know. What else should I ask?
From that feedback, we discovered that the use of the CCTV and the Skype call together was really effective, which was good because that was initially one of the things that we were going to change. We were going to change the order of that so they weren't next to each other. After looking at the feedback, we decided not to because it was one of the things that people liked about it. As it said in the video, at that point it wasn't finished and the plot was a little bit unclear because we hadn't put the voiceover in yet. We weren't really sure how much detail to go into in the voiceover, but from Millie saying she didn't really understand the narrative, we understood that we needed to go into the plot and into quite a lot of detail to understand, just to make sure people understood completely what was going on. Here is some audience feedback from our finished product. When we asked these questions, we just generally wanted to know if the people understood the narrative, because that was most important to us. Obviously, we asked people who would fit into our target audience and who were, between the ages of 18 and 19, that catered to what our target audience were. But our biggest concern was whether they understood the narrative.
Do you like the concept of our trailer?
Yeah, I like it, but I think it's a bit extreme.
Yeah. Would you go and watch it at the cinema?
Yeah, I probably would. Yeah.
So as you can see there, she said she would go and watch our film if it was in the cinema. And she is a perfect prime example of our primary audience. So we felt that from that audience feedback, that we'd done really well with that. Here's another video of someone who fits into the age of our target audience, but as it's more pointed to women than men, it's not quite as important as the last video. However, we thought it might be useful to get a feedback from a male and a female, just because as much as the target audiences for The Purge and for Black Mirror were more female, we thought perhaps ours would be maybe a little bit more female, but male as well, equally appointed to both genders, as we wanted to sort of expand our target audience as much as possible.
What did you think of our trailer?
I thought the trailer was good. The only improvement I can give is if there was more camera shots, like different angles, and more to it rather than just in the wood. But it was still a good trailer. I enjoyed it.
Did you understand the narrative?
Yeah, no, it was good. It was similar to like The Purge. It like kind of Purge feel to it. It's pretty straightforward. Nothing too complicated. So,
yeah, we kind of drew inspiration from that. And finally, would you go to watch it in the cinema?
Yeah, it's a good movie. I like The Purge, so I would watch that, to be honest with you. I liked the action and that. I like action movies in it, so yeah, I would spend money to watch that.
And as you can see from that audience feedback, again, it shows that the narrative was clear. He said he would go and watch it. He mentioned The Purge as well, which when we got that audience feedback, we felt was really good because we based a lot of our target audience and a lot of our shot angles, and we looked at the trailer for a lot of inspiration. So the fact that he said he liked The Purge and therefore he would go and see our film really helped, because The Purge had a massive target audience and a lot of people went to see The Purge, and it did really well as a film. So we felt that was really helpful. From my audience feedback, I've learned that we've made a major improvement from our film that we made in AS to A2. We made a lot of different choices and we planned much better, and I think that it's worked really well for myself and the rest of my group. we did look deeply at audience feedback, and we tried to pick a primary target audience and stick to that and just do what we thought would cater for them. And in hindsight, I think that's worked.